Batman doesn't trust anyone. Not completely. Not even his closest allies. Because Bruce Wayne has seen what happens when good people go bad, when heroes become tyrants, when the strongest protectors become the greatest threats. So he did what Batman does best. He prepared. He analyzed every weakness, exploited every vulnerability, and created detailed plans to neutralize every member of the Justice League. Plans so effective that when they were stolen and used against his teammates, they nearly destroyed Earth's greatest heroes. These are Batman's contingency plans, and they're all canon. 1. Martian Manhunter, Psychological Breakdown, 2000. JL, a number 43, July 2000, by Mark Waid and Howard Porter, began the Tower of Babel storyline that exposed all of Batman's contingency plans. The first victim was John Johns, the Martian Manhunter. Batman's plan exploited John's greatest fear, fire. Martians have a psychological terror of flames hardwired into their species. It's not just fear, it's a primal panic that overrides all rational thought. Ra's al Ghul's League of Assassins stole Batman's plans. They used a variant of magnesium powder called pyrophoric dust that ignited when exposed to air. An operative shot John with a dart containing the dust. The dust entered John's bloodstream and spread through his entire body. Within minutes, John's skin began spontaneously combusting from the inside. Every cell in his body was burning simultaneously. JLA number 43 showed John's complete psychological collapse. He couldn't think, couldn't strategize. His telepathic abilities went wild, broadcasting his terror to everyone nearby. The Martian Manhunter, one of the most powerful beings on Earth, was reduced to a screaming, burning mass of trauma. The Justice League rushed him to the Watchtower. Superman used his freeze breath to lower John's body temperature. Flash vibrated John's molecules to extinguish the internal fires, but the psychological damage was already done. John spent days recovering, not from the physical burns, which his healing factor handled, but from the mental trauma of experiencing his worst fear made manifest in his own body. Batman's plan didn't kill John. That was never the point. The plan was to incapacitate him completely by triggering psychological breakdown. It worked perfectly. When confronted about it later, Batman explained his reasoning. John was the most powerful telepath on Earth. If he were compromised or turned evil, no one could stop him from mind-controlling the entire planet. The fire weakness was the only reliable method of stopping him before he could use his abilities. Batman's plan for Martian Manhunter exploited pure psychological terror. His plan for Aquaman was far more personal. 2. Aquaman Hydrophobia, 2000. JLA, number 44, August 2000, showed Batman's contingency plan for Aquaman. The plan was simple and cruel. Make the King of Atlantis terrified of water. Aquaman's entire identity was built around the ocean. He breathed water as easily as air, communicated with sea life, drew strength from being submerged. Water was his element. Batman's plan used a modified scarecrow toxin that induced hydrophobia. Ra's al Ghul's operative introduced the toxin into Aquaman's system while he was swimming near Atlantis. The effect was immediate and devastating. Aquaman's skin began to feel like it was burning whenever water touched it. Not actually burning, but his nervous system interpreted any water contact as excruciating pain. JLA, number 44, showed Aquaman surfacing and screaming. He couldn't go back underwater. His body rejected the ocean. Every drop of water felt like acid on his skin. But the plan was more insidious than just pain. Aquaman's body needed water. As an Atlantean, he required regular submersion to survive. Without it, he'd dehydrate and die within hours. Aquaman was trapped in a nightmare. His body desperately needed water, but his mind couldn't tolerate touching it. He was dying of thirst while standing in the ocean. The Justice League found him on a beach, delirious and dehydrated. Superman had to physically restrain Aquaman, while Flash force-fed him water through a tube. Aquaman thrashed and screamed the entire time. His mind convinced the water was killing him, even as it saved his life. Green Lantern created a containment suit that allowed Aquaman to be submerged without directly touching water. Inside this protective barrier, his body could absorb moisture through osmosis, while his mind didn't register direct water contact. The psychological torture lasted for days. Aquaman, the most powerful being in the ocean, reduced to a whimpering mess who couldn't stand in the rain. Batman's reasoning was tactical. Aquaman controlled 70% of Earth's surface. If he turned evil, he could flood coastal cities and command sea life to attack humanity. The hydrophobia plan ensured Aquaman would be too busy fighting his own mind to weaponize the oceans. Aquaman attacked his core identity. His plan for Wonder Woman was even more elaborate. 3. Wonder Woman. VR Combat Simulation, 2000. JLA number 45, September 2000, revealed Batman's contingency plan for Wonder Woman. The plan exploited Diana's warrior nature and sense of honor. Batman created a detailed VR simulation program specifically designed for Wonder Woman. The program featured the most skilled opponent she could imagine, a warrior who matched her strength, speed, and combat ability perfectly. Ra's al Ghul's operative deployed nanotechnology that infiltrated Diana's brain while she slept. The nanobots created a direct neural interface, trapping her in the VR simulation while her body remained catatonic. Inside the simulation, Wonder Woman fought an enemy she couldn't defeat. Every time she struck, the opponent adapted. Every technique she used was countered. The fight was perfectly balanced to continue indefinitely. JLA number 45 showed Wonder Woman's physical body in a coma, while her mind battled endlessly. Her brain interpreted the simulation as real combat. Her heart rate spiked. Adrenaline flooded her system. She was fighting for her life against an enemy that didn't exist. The genius of the plan was psychological. Wonder Woman was a warrior trained from birth. Her instinct was to fight until victory or death. The simulation gave her neither, just eternal combat with no resolution. Hours turned into what felt like days in the simulation. Wonder Woman fought without rest, food, or water. Her simulated body grew exhausted, but the program wouldn't let her die or win. Just endless, grinding combat. The Justice League discovered Diana's body on the Watchtower, unconscious and convulsing. Her brain activity showed she was experiencing extreme stress. Oracle helped create a counter-program that severed the neural connection. When Diana woke up, she'd experienced what felt like weeks of continuous combat. Her body was physically fine, but her mind was exhausted. Psychological toll of fighting an unwinnable battle had drained her completely. Batman's reasoning: Wonder Woman was trained to never surrender. If she were mind-controlled or turned evil, conventional combat wouldn't stop her. She'd fight until destroyed. The VR trap exploited her greatest strength by turning it against her. A warrior who never stops fighting will fight forever against an immortal opponent. Batman trapped Wonder Diana in endless combat. His plan for Flash was over in seconds. 4. The Flash. Seizure-inducing device, 2000. JL. number 46, October 2000, showed Batman's contingency plan for the Flash. The plan was simple: make the fastest man alive unable to move. Flash's powers came from his connection to the Speed Force. He could vibrate his molecules through solid matter, run faster than light, process information in microseconds. His brain and nervous system operated at superhuman speed. Batman's plan exploited that enhanced nervous system. He created a small device that emitted a specific frequency designed to induce seizures in speedsters. Ra's al Ghul's operative shot the device onto Flash's costume. The moment it activated, Flash's enhanced metabolism became a weakness. His nervous system, which processed information thousands of times faster than normal humans, amplified the seizure frequency exponentially. JLA number 46 showed Flash collapsing mid-run. His body convulsed violently. His speed powers activated randomly, causing him to phase in and out of solid matter uncontrollably. One moment he was tangible, the next he'd partially phase through the ground. The seizures affected Flash's perception of time. To normal people, the seizure lasted seconds. To Flash, experiencing time at super speed, it felt like hours of uncontrolled convulsions. Green Lantern had to create a containment field to prevent Flash from vibrating through the Earth's crust. Superman used his heat vision at a precise frequency to destroy the device. But even after the device was removed, Flash's nervous system took hours to stabilize. Wally West spent the rest of the day unable to use his speed powers without risking another seizure. His enhanced metabolism, which normally healed injuries instantly, had amplified the neurological damage instead of fixing it. Batman's reasoning was clinical. Flash was too fast to fight conventionally. By the time you aimed a weapon, he'd already moved. The only way to stop him was to make his own powers the weapon. The seizure device turned his enhanced nervous system against him. The plan didn't require Batman to catch Flash. The device just needed to touch him once, and Flash's own body did the rest. Batman's plan for Flash used his speed against him. His plan for Green Lantern attacked his willpower. 5. Green Lantern, Hypnotic Suggestion, 2000. JL.A. number 43 to 44, 2000, revealed Batman's contingency plan for Green Lantern Kyle Rayner. The plan exploited the fundamental weakness of all Green Lantern rings. They're powered by willpower and imagination. Batman created a post-hypnotic suggestion that he planted in Kyle's subconscious months before Ra's al Ghul stole the plans. He did it during a routine Watchtower meeting, using subliminal frequencies only Kyle's artist-trained eye would notice. The suggestion was simple: you are blind. When activated by a specific trigger phrase, Kyle's brain would interpret all visual input as darkness. His eyes worked perfectly, but his brain couldn't process what they saw. He was functionally blind. JLA number 44 showed the trigger activation. Kyle was flying when suddenly he couldn't see. His ring, powered by his will and imagination, could only create what he could visualize. Blind, Kyle couldn't imagine constructs clearly enough to make them solid. His ring constructs became vague, shapeless blobs. He tried creating a net to catch himself, but produced a formless green cloud. Tried making a barrier, but created something full of holes. Every construct failed because he couldn't see what he was making. Kyle crashed into a building. His ring automatically created a protective shield, but even that was unstable. He was trapped in darkness, unable to fight, unable to fly, unable to help his teammates. The Justice League realized Kyle wasn't actually blind when Superman's X-ray vision showed his eyes functioning normally. Oracle identified the post-hypnotic suggestion and coached Kyle through breaking it. But the damage was done. For critical hours, Green Lantern was completely neutralized. His most powerful weapon useless because he couldn't see to aim it or visualize what to create. Batman's reasoning: Green Lantern rings are the most powerful weapons in the universe, limited only by the wielder's willpower and imagination. Kyle was an artist with incredible imagination, but imagination requires visualization. Make him blind, and the ring becomes a flashlight instead of a cosmic weapon. The plan also worked on a deeper level. Kyle's confidence came from his artistic vision. Taking away his sight attacked his core identity as an artist, undermining the willpower that fueled his ring. Batman blinded Green Lantern with suggestion. His plan for Superman was more direct. 6. Superman Red Kryptonite Skin Transformation, 2000. JL, a number 45, September 2000, showed Batman's most elaborate contingency plan: how to neutralize Superman, the most powerful being on Earth. Batman had multiple anti-Superman protocols: kryptonite weapons, red sun radiation devices, magic-based contingencies. But for the Tower of Babel plan, he chose something more insidious: synthetic red kryptonite. Red kryptonite's effects are unpredictable and temporary, but Batman had spent years analyzing different variants. He synthesized a specific strain designed to produce one effect: make Superman's skin transparent. Ra's al Ghul's operative replaced Clark Kent's toothpaste with a compound containing the red kryptonite. Superman brushed his teeth, swallowed trace amounts, and went to work at the Daily Planet. Hours later, his skin began changing. It became translucent, then fully transparent. Superman could see his own muscles, bones, and organs. So could everyone else. JLA, number 45, showed the psychological impact. Superman was functionally immortal. Bullets bounced off him. He'd survived nuclear explosions. But seeing his own anatomy moving with every breath triggered a visceral horror he'd never experienced. The transparency affected his solar energy absorption. Sunlight passed through his transparent skin instead of being absorbed by his cells. His powers began weakening. His strength decreased. His flight became unstable. His heat vision flickered out. But the real damage was psychological. Superman's invulnerability was core to his identity. He'd never felt vulnerable before. Seeing his own mortality reflected in his transparent skin broke something in his confidence. The transparency also affected his vision. His eyes were see-through, which meant light passed through his retinas instead of being captured. His supervision failed. He could barely see. Superman became paranoid. If his skin was transparent, were his organs vulnerable now? Could a bullet pass through his transparent skin and hit his heart? The invulnerable Man of Steel was suddenly afraid of being shot. The Justice League contained Superman in a lead-lined room to block solar radiation and slow the kryptonite's effects. Martian Manhunter had to telepathically calm Superman's panic while the red kryptonite worked through his system. The effects lasted 12 hours. When Superman's skin returned to normal, his powers came back, but the psychological impact lingered. He'd felt vulnerable, mortal, human. It terrified him. Batman's reasoning. Superman was too powerful to fight directly. The red kryptonite plan didn't try to kill him. It made him afraid. Fear weakened his confidence, which weakened his effectiveness in combat. A terrified Superman made mistakes, hesitated, doubted himself. That was the real weapon. Batman made Superman feel mortal. His plan for Plastic Man was to make him forget he was alive. 7. Plastic Man, Frozen and Shattered, 2005. JLA number 119, November 2005. By Jeff Johns and Alan Goldman, revealed Batman's contingency plan for Plastic Man. Created after Tower of Babel, exposed the need for updated protocols. Plastic Man was nearly impossible to stop through conventional means. He could stretch infinitely, reshape his body into anything, survive being torn apart, and reassemble himself. His malleable body was functionally immortal. Batman's plan was simple: freeze him solid, then shatter him into pieces. The plan appeared in a hypothetical simulation. Batman ran on the Watchtower. If Plastic Man were compromised, Batman would use Mr. Freeze's technology to flash freeze Eel O'Brien at temperatures approaching absolute zero. At those temperatures, Plastic Man's molecular structure would become rigid. His infinitely flexible body would turn brittle. A single impact would shatter him into thousands of pieces. The simulation showed the pieces being separated and stored in different locations worldwide. Even Plastic Man couldn't reassemble if his pieces were scattered across continents. JLA number 119 showed the psychological component. Each piece would remain conscious. Plastic Man's brain would technically be in one fragment, but his consciousness was distributed throughout his entire body. Every single piece would be aware, trapped, unable to move or communicate. Batman estimated Plastic Man could survive in this state indefinitely. His scattered pieces wouldn't die. They'd just exist in frozen, conscious isolation forever. The plan was never used in main continuity, but Batman confirmed he'd built the freezing device and stored it in the Batcave, just in case. Batman's reasoning. Plastic Man's powers made him nearly unstoppable, but they also made him vulnerable in specific ways. His elasticity depended on molecular flexibility. Remove that flexibility, and his greatest strength became his weakness. A frozen Plastic Man was just a statue that could be broken. The darker implication was that Batman had considered the psychological torture aspect acceptable. Leaving someone conscious but frozen and scattered wasn't just incapacitation, it was a fate worse than death. 8. Cyborg, Virus Protocol, 2011. Justice League number 7, May 2012. By Jeff Johns and Jim Lee, in the New 52 continuity, showed Batman developing contingency plans for the reformed Justice League. His plan for Cyborg was straightforward: use Victor Stone's technology against him. Cyborg was part human, part machine. His cybernetic components were connected to every computer system on Earth. He could hack any network, control any technology, interface with any digital system. That connectivity was his greatest power and his critical weakness. Batman's plan was a virus specifically designed to target Cyborg's operating system. The virus didn't attack Cyborg's human brain or organic components. It targeted his cybernetic parts. Justice League number 23, October 2013, showed Batman testing the virus in a simulation. Once deployed, the virus would spread through Cyborg's systems like cancer. It would corrupt his motor functions first, making him unable to control his cybernetic limbs. Then, it would attack his sensory inputs. His cybernetic eye would feed him false information. His audio processors would create phantom sounds. His tactical computer would give him incorrect calculations. Finally, the virus would force a full system shutdown. Cyborg's cybernetic components would simply stop functioning. He'd be trapped in his own body, his human brain, conscious, but unable to move or communicate through his mechanical parts. The simulation showed Cyborg reverting to his pre-transformation state, a critically injured athlete with no cybernetic enhancements. His human body couldn't survive without the mechanical life support. He'd have minutes to receive medical attention before dying. Batman built a kill switch into the virus. He could stop it at any point before total shutdown. The plan wasn't to kill Victor, just incapacitate him long enough to address whatever threat he'd become. Batman's reasoning: Cyborg's connection to every digital system made him the most dangerous Justice League member if compromised. An evil cyborg could shut down global communications, crash financial systems, and launch nuclear weapons. The virus protocol was designed to cut him off from technology before he could weaponize it. The plan acknowledged Victor's humanity by targeting only his mechanical components. Batman wasn't trying to destroy Cyborg. He was trying to temporarily turn Victor Stone back into a normal human who couldn't hurt anyone. Batman's contingency plans proved he trusted no one completely, not even his closest allies. When Ra's al Ghul stole these plans in Tower of Babel, they nearly destroyed the Justice League and exposed the darkest aspect of Bruce Wayne's paranoia. These weren't just theoretical exercises. They were fully developed protocols ready to deploy. If this deep dive into Batman's paranoia revealed something you didn't know, hit like, subscribe, and tell us which plan was the most brutal.